Well, it's time now for the latest business news. Elon Musk is making waves on Twitter once again, it should be said. Solange Mougin from our business desk is here to tell us more. Solange.
Yeah, Haxi, this is quite a big news for Twitter and for Elon Musk as he becomes the largest shareholder. How did this happen? Well, regulatory findings were released that show that Elon Musk bought nearly $3 billion worth of Twitter stock. He was already a prolific Twitter user, and now it looks like he wants to either play with the company, shift its direction, or even potentially buy it out. Now, Musk has been critical in the past of Twitter, and he's also said he's been thinking of starting his own social media platform. While we don't know what Musk's plan is yet, Yinka Oyatade has more on the backstory of this stock purchase.
Along with being the richest man on earth, Elon Musk can now add largest shareholder in Twitter to his long list of titles, after US securities filings showed that the Tesla founder recently bought a 9.2% stake in the company. The purchase means Musk now controls more than 4 times the stock of Twitter's founder Jack Dorsey. The ultimate aim of the share purchase worth $3 billion is not clear, but analysts say the buy-in is certainly a valuable addition to Musk's giant empire.
I think at the end of the day, listen, he's only going to take an interest in a company like this if, one, he thinks he can make money from it, and given our view of this company being underappreciated given its asset base, we do think he will make money on this, and he already has to some extent.
The share purchase comes after Musk, who has 80 million followers, published a tweet questioning the platform's dedication to free speech, saying he was contemplating building a rival social media app. Tweeting everything from criticisms of the news and culture to Tesla's financial affairs, Musk has repeatedly clashed with regulators. In 2018, the mogul tweeted that he had secured funding to take Tesla private without providing proof. The US Securities and Exchange Commission argued that the tweets were false and misleading. As a result, Musk paid a $20 million fine. His tweets that are capable of moving Tesla's share price have to now be screened by lawyers before posting.
With 80 million followers, Elon Musk's questions and polls on Twitter have continued. In his latest one, he asked users if they were in favor of an edit button being added to the site. This is something that some users have been wanting for a long time, so they can rewrite their tweets. The CEO of Twitter responded to the poll and advised users to vote carefully. The vast majority said they wanted an edit button. This was a bit of poking from the head of Twitter as the company's shares closed up by more than 27% following the news of Musk's purchase. Now we turn to Greece, where the government is celebrating a milestone of sorts. The country has repaid its outstanding debts that it owed to the International Monetary Fund. The finance minister hailed the payback as a positive development and the closing of a chapter that began in May 2010. Greece managed to pay back the final payments with 2 years in advance, 2 years early. Now let's check out what's happening on the markets. Supported by the upward trend of the day on Wall Street, which was thanks in large part to tech shares, Asian stocks were also inching up. The Hang Seng and the Shanghai Composite were closed for the day. That's why they're at zero. Now to Starbucks. Its CEO has announced that he's hitting the pause button on stock buybacks. Like dividends, stock buybacks or share repurchases are a means of rewarding investors. By ceasing them, the chief executive, Harold Schultz, who has just returned to the company, is signaling that he wants to free up some cash to promote growth by making new investments. But the move did mean that the share price of Starbucks closed by more than 3% by the end of the day. Now for some rather grim news. The UN Health Agency has said that nearly everyone in the world, or 99% of us, are breathing polluted air, or air that doesn't meet the United Nations standards for air quality. But as we're about to hear, some people and countries have it worse off, and that translates to a loss of life.
Most of the 7 million deaths, they come from low and middle income countries. Indeed, they do. It doesn't mean that in the high-income countries are not impacted. When we are using mortality to calculate the impact of air pollution on health. However, we are very much aware that you should actually count for morbidity. I mean, all the disease that it creates, all the absenteeism, the lack of productivity. There are a lot of costs associated with air pollution, which are not necessarily captured in the death.
And finally, for me, some good green news. One of the world's largest toy makers, Mattel, has announced that it is expanding its carbon-neutral products. It will now produce building blocks that encourage green behavior. The sets will be solar farms, recycling trucks, and beehives. And the blocks themselves will be made of plant-based materials or recyclable plastic. The company says it aims to use 100% recyclable or recycled material by 2030. So, Haxi, every single building block, I guess, when it comes to being green, helps.
Solange Bourgeon with a look through the day's top business stories. Thank you very much.